Welcome to Point Blank. This is your host, Panama Crypto. Today our guest is SalsaTekila. He needs no introduction, really. Welcome, SalsaTekila. Good to have you on Point Blank, my man.
Hey, thank you for having me, Panama.
Cool, let's get going. So who is SalsaTekila in real life?
Yeah, so I'm a crypto trader. I've been doing this since 2017. Basically, I had some exposure to crypto prior to the 2017 bubble, and I've been trading it full time ever since. Basically, every day of my life, I've been taking trades, exposed, or looking for trades.
So what does SalsaTekila do outside crypto? What are your hobbies, man?
I love cycling. Play a bit of video games, Call of Duty recently. I'm not really good, but I'm getting there a bit better. And I love I exercise a lot. I like cycling, jogging. It helps me stay sane in my head because I do a lot of sitting when I'm trading, so it kind of balances out a little and helps tremendously with good health.
Oh, you need to pass me your Call of Duty handle so we can play out.
Yeah, sure, man. I can pass it to you. I try not to put it public because I heard you can. I heard you can grab IPs and stuff like that, and with I don't want my IP to go out on the internet, so I'm a bit careful. But sure, for sure, man.
So how you got into crypto? Who got you into crypto?
What got me into crypto? Basically, prior to crypto, I was doing some online video games gambling, and I've been doing that since I'm 12. Basically, I was plus EV gambling. Back when I was 12, I was really inexperienced, so it was a mix of plus EV gambling and just plain gambling and playing around on video games. I didn't really do it for the money, but at some point, I realized that on the video games I was playing on, I could transact and exchange the virtual goods for real life money. And that's where I discovered PayPal. And I've started selling goods online that I would accumulate on video games through plus EV gambling. So between 12 and 13 years old, I made something like $2,000 on that. And then I bought a bunch of stuff with that, mostly wasted the money. But I think I bought a kind of alarm that was goofy and a toy car that I could remote drive, and the bicycle. So that was pretty much it. I had fun back then. Then I started high school, and when I was about 14 years old, I restarted doing that MMO gambling a bit more seriously, but I lost for a long time. Even there, I was very stubborn and invested, and I kept at it. Eventually, I had some decent bankroll that was going on. When I was 15 years old, I had issues with PayPal. So I was transacting on a weekly basis, multiple times a week, in and out of PayPal, and they didn't like it. They locked my account. They asked me to justify my business model. And when I explained them that I was, gambling on video games, transacting virtual goods for real life dollars, and the fact that I was not 18 years old, they locked my account. I appealed multiple times. They gave me shit, and I couldn't get the issues fixed. I did not lose money. Luckily, I withdrew and I had nothing at the time, but I never was able to use PayPal again. So I looked into Bitcoin. That's how I discovered it. I did not see it as an investment. It was only for transacting on the internet. And then I learned about ETH and all those other altcoins. And luckily, I had a small exposure prior to the 2017 bubble. And that's where I started really getting interested because prices went up and something was up. I had some skin in the game, and that's what kept me driven. And then I started trading through 2017, and that's when the sleep deprivation and degenerate adventure started.
I got my first exposure to Bitcoins through VRWOX, buying like Linden coins using my PayPal. So it's
wait, through what?
VRWOX.
I have no idea what it is.
You could buy these Linden coins, which were you similar to what you were mentioning about acquiring merchandise for online games.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I bought a few fractions of Bitcoin back then, but not at your level. That's some degenerate shit.
Yeah, I mean, back then, Bitcoin was like, I think it was 2014, 2015. Bitcoin was like $300 at the lowest I've seen it. So, I was a degenerate on MMO gambling, and I was, making and losing a couple Bitcoins a day back then. And if I look back to it, like a Bitcoin now, it's freaking, what, $12,000? So that's a huge difference. And it bugged me for a long time, because after the 2017 bubble, if I did the same MMO gambling, I would maybe make a fraction of a Bitcoin for the same kind of virtual good that I would sell for literally 2-3 Bitcoin at the time. So the scales were pretty insane. Like the bull market was crazy in 2017, and that will definitely mark me for the rest of my life, especially the following bear market that got me good. I got wrecked in 2018.
So you've been in the market quite a while. What is your secret salsa recipe of your go-to trading strategies?
So my trading strategy is, I'm a scalper. I get in and out a lot through the day. I think my average hold hour for a trade is 3 hours. So what I like to do and what works best and provides the best opportunities for me is trades that I plan depending on market context. So let's say I log off the screen and then I start fresh. I look at it, and then first of all, I evaluate whether I should be in a position or should look to be in a position. And then I try to find out if I wanted to be in a position, where would I be able to get a lucky entry that would give me great risk definition. So a very key point to make profit with leverage is limiting downside. You want to get a lucky entry, and you want to know when you're wrong, and to be wrong as fast as possible if it comes to it. So mostly what I do is I set bids or offers depending on whether I want to take the long side or the short side, and then I wait for some of them or them all to hit. Oftentimes they won't hit all, and since I try to catch a lucky entry outside of the typical volatility range, when and if they hit, I know very, very quickly if I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'll typically be underwater, or price will not bounce from my entry, or maybe market will hint that there's going to be a second wave. So oftentimes what I do is I'll offload whatever I got on a small bounce. Even if it's $30, I'll take it. And then I bid again, because market has not reacted strong, momentum has not broken, and I know there's going to be a second dive into the support or resistance that I want to trade. So I'm extremely dynamic. I think the market is something dynamic that constantly changes, and there's no such thing as a pattern that will forever work. Eventually, people catch up, and something I like to do is trade the flavor of the week, the trends. If, for example, a certain given week, we tend to go up a lot, and then I see a setup that tends to work the given week, or events like Tetherprint that somehow a certain week tend to generate price reactions, I'll be more inclined to trade this due to recency bias than a pattern that worked maybe a year ago, but I don't know if it's going to still work now, because it's been a while and market conditions change. So recency, I scalp in and out. I try to get lucky on entries, and for the exit part, you don't want to get lucky. So as I explained, if you get $30 and the market hints that it's probably not going to keep going your way, you want to take the profit, because the entry is what you want to get lucky. The exit is what you want to capture. That's the way I scalp. My average holding period since 2019 has been somewhere around three hours, but for the competition on Bybit that I did extremely well, it was a lot less. So it was maybe 1 hour maximum, because I was extremely picky on my entries, and whenever something I don't like I would not gamble it as much because I knew that I was extremely leveraged, and one trade, it was like one small cut with the kind of leverage I use was enough to cut me multiple 100% in my ROI returns.
How much leverage do you use typically?
I use cross leverage, so I don't really care about what leverage I use, but I think if you're a beginner, you should probably not use leverage until you understand all the mechanics that is behind it. Cross leverage basically is something that uses all your collateral in your trading account. So you need to be able to understand how to, first of all, take a loss if it's required, what is your liquidation price, which is the price at which you lose everything. Because if you're levered and let's say you're on 10x and price goes, well, 10% against you in theory, you lose everything, right? So if you're playing with leverage, you need to be a very, very good risk manager for one. And especially if you use cross leverage like I do, it gets really tricky because you put all your account at stake. I would not recommend people use leverage if they don't understand risk management thoroughly. I use cross leverage personally.
Cool. Can you share your current bags, Salsa?
Bitcoin.
Mainly Bitcoin. So no yield farming, no
Nothing.
Uniswap coins.
I was looking into Uniswap. I have no other bag than Bitcoin. I trade Bitcoin. I hedge my Bitcoin exposure through derivatives. So currently I've got my only bag is Bitcoin spot, and I've got the Bitcoin short that's going on since around $12,000. Well, actually my entry is literally $12,000. So I got a hedge running on Bitcoin, and I've got a Bitcoin spot bag. The hedge is more kind of a trade. I don't really like, there's a leverage side of it, but basically the way I trade it is if I think that there might be a macro dip eventually, I'll hold the position and I'll just trail my stop loss. So, let's say I got a $12,000 entry. My initial stop was 12,110. I'll just trail my stop as it goes because I don't know how it will end. And maybe we're at bottom right now. I don't really care. I'm not levered on that side of things. I'm just trying to protect my downside a bit. It's a strategy that's been working for me. And Bitcoin is plenty for me to trade. It's the most liquid asset, and I'm a margin trader. So, I capture very small fluctuations of price oftentimes on Bitcoin, multiple trades a day. So I don't really want to, I couldn't do the same size that I can execute on Bitcoin on illiquid cryptocurrencies that are found on, say, Binance futures or Uniswap. I haven't really looked into it yet. Actually, I did, but I haven't invested in it yet. But what I will do if I do invest in that is I want to invest very small, because for one, I don't know if I'm late. I'm just dipping my toes, and I think you got to be conservative with those things. And second, I would never invest a lot of money in an altcoin that's extremely illiquid and speculative. It's not like 2017. I remember I had some big bags in the six figures. I ended up getting wrecked every time. I think it's a very terrible idea to invest big in those kind of illiquid altcoins. My goal, if I invest in altcoins, low caps and such, would be to capture huge multiplier returns. So let's say I started with $2,000. I want to make that $2,000 into 50 or 100 grands, but I don't want to put 100 grands and pray that it becomes 10 million, because that's, for one, unrealistic, and also I'm risking 100 grands, and also liquidity is going to be much more of an issue probably. So I start small, and I hope for big runners when I play altcoins. Right now, I only own Bitcoin.
Cool. That's a solid strategy, man. I've seen you killing it lately. Well, not lately, like since I've seen you in Twitter, like back in early 2018.
Yeah, I remember those days. I was very tiny on Twitter. I think I had like 500 follows, and I was live trading on Twitch because nobody would front run me back then. I was not even profitable at some, like early 2018. I was not profitable. I think I was mostly chasing my tail, winning, losing, and ending up break even until the end of the year. where I started really kicking it off. But I remember those days. That was pretty fun. I had some crazy runs at points. I think at some I 3x'd a public account on BitMEX, and I won a crypto cartel competition. I think it was, but that same account, I ended up losing almost everything. I think a few weeks after, because I just kept degening. I had no notion of bankroll. Like I had no notion of bankroll management. I really learned that one from pain, because even if you have good odds, if you keep betting the wrong amounts, the dice is going to roll, and there's something called geometric expectancy and mathematical expectancy. So when you trade, you want to have mathematical expectancy on your side, which is basically keeping the odds, making sure that your trade is profitable. But if you bet the wrong amount, geometrical expectancy is going to bite you in the ass, and you're going to end up flipping the wrong side of the dice, and eventually you'll get wiped, no matter if you have odds in your trading or not. So that's a big part of trading that not everybody understands. You need to have risk management to even be able to profit from plus EV trading.
This episode is brought to you by PrimeXBT, the exchange that makes possible to trade with leverage on legacy markets from a single Bitcoin-based account. You're a trading legend, champ, under my eyes. How the final days of the Bybit World Series of Trading unfolded?
So at the beginning, I was trying to be extremely picky on my entries, right? I was trading normally, and I was trading very well. I was picky. Yes, I got extremely lucky, but I made my luck in the sense that I did not take gambles that were not good odds, in my view. I tried to get lucky on my entries. I got lucky on my entries, and when I had a trade, I would not let it run against me. I would capture the profit very fast and immediately try to find the next good opportunity. Towards the end, that's where things changed, and the last 2 days were hell. Like, I had to take some gambles that I did not want to take just because of the competition. First of all, the night before, I was very close to being number one in individual P&Ls. So if I was able to rake, I think it was something like 600%. I was at 4,500% ROI. The number one individual P&L was at 4.8%. So if I raked 500%, I would have been number one in that leaderboard. And the price pool difference is from 3 Bitcoin to 7.5 Bitcoin. So basically what I did was I took coin flip odds trade. I gambled. I did not, because there was no time, right? I had to gamble, and it was good odds to do so, only because there was a possibility that if the gamble pays off, I rake the number one spot on the P&L leaderboard, which is a 4.5 Bitcoin reward difference. So the reward I would have was, I had number two locked, secured, no matter what. Even if the gamble fails, I'm number two in individual P&L and individual profit in notional. But if the gamble succeeds, I'm number one in individual P&L, and I make 4.5 more Bitcoin. So it's like I'm paid to gamble, which makes it good odds. So that's what I did. I took a bet and I lost it. I think the loss was about 1.2 Bitcoin that night. And then I said, okay, I'm done. We're number two. I give up. I do not want to keep gambling. There's no good opportunities in sight that can possibly make me gain that back. And we're far ahead from the number three team. So I stopped trading. Then I asked my friend, in case the number three team, which is unlikely, catches up to us, ring my phone, wake me up. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. Wake me up, and I'll go and fucking trade and do what I got to do to win the number two spot back. I was certain that it would not happen. At 3 a.m., my friend rings my phone. Yo, we dumped. We're number three. The now number two team just made like 150% team ROI. They were all DGen short. You got to do something, man. So I wake up. I know they're short. I just bid on the first spot that looks decent, not even good. Like I just spread some bids. I'm literally at, I think it's 4 a.m. There's 2 hours left to the competition. I'm stuck with a 3 million long position. Like 3 million position, and I cannot close it until the end, because if I close it for one, I lose on fees, and for two, I push the opposite team's ROI because 3 million affects the market a little bit probably. So if I cover that short, it's gonna, if I close that long, I was long 3 million. If I close it, it's gonna push the market a bit down, give them P&L and make me lose on fees. So my only option, it was so close. We were both at like a 520 and 510% team ROI. Every $10 fluctuation made or break our teams. So I think it was 10 minutes later, we start pumping like 10 minutes before the end. I'm still in my long. I have to hold, like I cannot even show offers to close it because until the end of the competition is bad odds to do so. So I just hold that and pray. And eventually we pump a little bit. Then towards the end, we start dumping. I said, okay, it's over, they'll win. And then we pump again. And I think right before the end, we dumped a little bit. And right at the end, our team ended up at 500% ROI. And the third team ended up at 494% ROI, but the leaderboard was always delayed. So I thought we lost. Because there was always like a 10 minutes delay on the leaderboard to upload. And I think they had issues with pooling data. Like through the whole competition, the leaderboard was never real time. And in that small period of time, Bitcoin moved like $15. So you really didn't know who won. And when I looked at the final results, I see ourselves third. I'm like, yeah, fuck, we lost. We're third. We did our best. I'm proud of us. Good job, team. Then I refreshed like 5 seconds later. We're actually second because Bybit pulled the real-time data at 6 a.m. Eastern time. And it turns out that we won ahead by 6%, which was probably a $5 difference in price because we were all degenerate positions. So at the end, that was really crazy times. I had to take some gambles just because they were good gambles and not because they were good trades. It was really not trading in the end. It was game theory and try to make the right moves to rake as much reward as possible. It was really fun, but sleep.
You guys were actually at number one for quite a while, a few days.
Yeah, we were number one, and that's literally the night before made or break whether we were going to be number one or not. What happened is the guy Junkie84, he was long since $11.3 thousand or 11.4, and I knew he was long. The guy was trying to get lucky on a pump. That's how I viewed it at least, and he did not get it. So I was at 4.8 thousand percent ROI. He was at 3 point something. I was over 1,000% ahead, and then on Sunday we started pumping like crazy. We went from 11.4 to 11.6. 11.4 to 11.7 or something like that. And he closed it for a good profit. And then suddenly he was at 4.8 thousand percent ROI and I was at 4.5. So he got his pump and I was basically, I knew he was long, but I did not want to take the gamble because I thought I didn't have to. And if it came to it, I would just take another gamble to counter it the night before and it would be a coin flip for the winner. And it came out that he got the pump, he got the exit. The night before I had to take a gamble and I lost it. So we ended up number two.
At one point I saw that you had like a 1,000 point ROIs difference and you were ahead.
Yeah, that was before the Sunday pump because he was long from 11.4. He just held his long. He's more of a swing trader. Like he's patient. He waits for the market to move in his direction. He doesn't scalp in and out as much as I do. So that was different styles. He got his pump in the end, and that's what. I think
it was a really close race.
Yeah, very, very close.
Congrats on that, man, and your team.
Thank you.
Another question about the World Series of trading. How was the overall experience on Bybit?
The what?
The overall experience of the tournament.
The overall experience. I really loved it actually. The last Bybit competition I got wiped. I couldn't pull those returns, right? Because you have to go very degenerate from the start. You need to get you need to get one lucky trade to kickstart.
Was it a shorter time frame tournament?
No, it was. I think it was like 2 weeks as well. Like this one was 3 weeks. The last one was maybe a week or two. I don't exactly recall, but I did very poorly the last one. This one I did very, very well because I got lucky from the start. You need to get a lucky head start. There is no person in the world who's capable of making 4,000% ROI in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. That requires skills. Yes, if you want to to have good chance of doing that, but that also requires a large part of luck. And I didn't get that luck at the beginning. Even this competition, at first I was minus 50%. I got hit. I started I started from 0.1. I lost half of my balance, and I had to redeposit 0.9 to mitigate a bit of the loss. And then from 0.14 Bitcoin, I turned it into like 8 Bitcoin. So there was a large part of luck as well as skills. And I believe that I had a lot of fun in the process. It was entertaining on Twitter as well, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of supporters on Twitter also. This guy that won is Korean, right? He started his account on Twitter. During the tournament.
Yeah, the guy, I think he made a Twitter account, and he's Korean apparently, or Japanese, I'm not sure.
He's Korean.
He's Korean. So the guy won every single competition for spot. His team, he single-handedly carried his team to number 1. He won the inverse perpetual contract individual prize, individual P&L, and he also won every single prize in the secondary competition, which were with the USDT products. So he literally won everything. What a guy. Legend.
I guess he should be more active on Twitter.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have time to shitpost as much as I do.
Making too much money.
Yeah, he's too busy trading the market instead of shitposting like me.
Hey, so Salsa, you're very polarized on the topic of paid groups. Why so?
Yeah, so I never joined a paid group. I'm extremely biased because I think that most paid groups are absolute scams. And even if they're not, you can't really know which ones are good or not. I think that in general, if somebody joins a paid group, he loses money. And like I view it in terms of expectancy, similar to my trading, in the sense that it's a bad move to join a paid group because you pay, so you have a money investment into something that's probably going to be a scam. I'm basically saying all paid groups are scams because you're scamming yourself by joining, because it's like shitcoins. You can't filter which one are scams versus the ones that aren't. And even if there's a big account that I like that runs a paid group, I don't know if it's going to be a scam, because I think that most really profitable traders, they do not have time for this, for one. And for two, it has regulatory consequences. It's not necessarily legal everywhere to run a paid group, right? So in my opinion, if you look at the paid groups that started in 2018, for example, a lot of them were people who traded for maybe a couple months, caught up with all the technical analysis stuff, watched a few ICT videos, started drawing rectangles on a chart, and suddenly they seemed like geniuses on Twitter because they had large followings, and they started selling paid group stuff. Literally, that's how it went. And it's laughable, yes, but at the same time, they're literally ripping people off for money, a lot of time, and they give them false expectations of trading. Not only that, but they lie on returns that they promise their customers. It's all fucking Excel spreadsheets that are probably 100% falsifies, or they forget to mention that they lost a lot of money on fees, because real traders know that slippage in fees has a huge impact on trading. So you look at their spreadsheets, it's totally fake. You cannot trust it. They have fake customers reviews most of the time. And I think it's a marketing scam for 99% of them. So even if you catch the 1% that is not a scam, yes, you maybe or maybe not will learn something from a trader that knows what he's doing. But even there, you could have learned that for free by trading yourself. That's how you learn to do something, by doing it, in my opinion. That's how I learned plus EV gambling prior to trading. I just ate the fucking losses for a year at least. I kept at it. I kept trying. Eventually I caught up some stuff. I improved and I made myself into it. It's it's going to be a long process, but eventually if you stick long enough and you keep exposed and trying, you will definitely learn something. 100%. So that's how I think you should learn to trade, by trading a lot. And for the basics like risk management, exchange mechanics, if you're into technical analysis, trust me, the free videos on YouTube are going to be as good as any paid group. and they're not going to cost you money. They're only going to cost you time investment.
You have some points there. I agree on some of them. I don't have a paid group. There's a wide spectrum of paid groups that I've seen, and I check their educational content. Some are really good, some are really bad. But yeah, I guess there's demand for it at the moment, or always have been.
Yes, because people like to be mouth fed. People think that you're not trading is a business, and if you want to start a business, you don't want to copy someone else's business. It makes no sense. Why would somebody with a profitable business shows you how, give you his business, right? Because literally, if somebody has a profitable trading strategies and he vocalizes it and he shares it, one big player that catches up to his profitable strategy can literally wipe out 90% of his gains, guaranteed. Like, let's say somebody gave me a pattern that has a 90% strike rate or a magical edge, trading edge, I could single-handedly majorly affect his profits by taking the large piece of the pie. It's not something that you typically want to share.
Yeah, I see your point. But I guess there are some people that do want that, or as you mentioned, be mouth fed, and probably they don't have time to dig for the good educational content or the signals or whatnot. But as you mentioned, there are also free groups that share this sort of information. Maybe there's a lesser amount of these groups that are free, but I've seen that you have a channel. Do you share some of these signals and your strategy and educational content?
So I've been running like a Discord and Telegram channels. It's mostly for fun. I don't have plans to monetize ever. I do not sell any content. All my content is free. If I make any money, it's going to be from ref links, which is a very, very tiny impact in comparison to my trading. But I think that selling access to those kind of spots is the same as a paid group, basically. So I will never do it. Yes, I run Telegram and Discord. Telegram was in 2018. It was a trading journal, so I would type a lot and basically say trades I'm watching, my thought process, and everything. Now my audience grew a bit too big to share trades in advance. I cannot do live trading anymore, sadly. So it's mostly a relay of information that's a bit filtered. Like, basically, if I'm taking a trade or taking an approach, I'll post it on Telegram and Discord as well. And on Twitter, I should post a lot more. So it's a bit filtered. Discord is a spot where we can converse with other people. There's a lot of people in my channels. I can section the data. So let's say I take a Bitcoin trade. There's going to be a BTC channel, and then there's going to be a closed trade section where I can post my Twitter threads and filter in that regards. There's a channel for a bot where I can pull up charts from Discord add-on bots. There's channels to voice chat with other traders, speak with other traders, typing channel as well. So all those cool features are not necessarily accessible on Twitter. And it doesn't really bother me running them. It's not a big time consuming thing. So that's why I keep at it. I enjoy it.
You mentioned that you don't live trade anymore. Why so?
Because when I trade, the opportunities are scarce. Like I trade low time frames a lot, and oftentimes I'll enter and exit very fast. Change my mind. It's not something that people could copy for one, and I know that they would. And not only that, but if I try to get lucky on an entry and I broadcast that I want that entry, or I broadcast that my stop is at some point, people could front run my entries and my stop loss, which will cost me a lot of money over time.
Maybe you will also feel forced to enter a trade just to get over with in the live stream.
I had that issues a little bit, but I think I'm good with that issues of when you broadcast that you're going to take a trade, you feel obliged to take it because you broadcasted it. And if you have to change your mind, it might become a problem that you posted on Twitter that you want to take this trade, because suddenly you're like, no, after all, this trade's shit. And then you remove your orders, they call you a fucking scammer, right? But no, it's just the market. condition change. I don't want to trade this. The context is different, right? It's not the same trade. There's a bit of that, but it's mostly because I don't want people to front run me. I play a different size than before. I have a different audience. Like my audience grew a lot. And, I can't live trade in front of 40,000 people. That would just not be that would just kill my edge.
It's not playing Call of Duty live. Totally.
Yeah, different. Exactly. It's like people have money to, like, people would front run me 100%, and I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. So Salsa, what is your top recommendation for newcomers into crypto?
Be skeptical. Don't believe everything you read. There's a lot of scam in this market, and there's a lot of people who will try to sell you products. Be aware of that. Not everything, like if somebody seems too good to be true, it might be, but it might also make you money if you it's the Wild West. So I'd say don't ever take a loan. It's probably the best advice I can do, because if you take a loan to gamble in crypto, you will very likely lose all your money and have a debt. So do not take a loan. Invest what you can afford to lose. Try to be a healthy amount of skeptical so you don't get scammed, because there's scammers everywhere. You're your own bank. If you get scammed for crypto, nobody's going to refund you. It's not like a credit card. It's not like a credit card payment that you can just ask your bank to loop back. Aside from that, I'd say, I trade Bitcoin specifically. If you want to play altcoins, there's probably good resources on the internet. I really like Crypto Creds and Donald's free content. I'm a bit biased because they're my friends, but they have a bunch of content. They have a newsletter. Crypto Cred has a YouTube channel. He has a good guide on risk management, a Medium article, as well as a YouTube video. So risk management is a big part of trading. So if you're into especially leverage trading, you need to be a professional, like really, really good risk manager. So definitely go check out Crypto Cred's resources on risk management. It's all free and it's very high quality. Aside from the risk management aspect, there will be the security aspect. So don't keep more than necessary on exchanges. And as I said at the beginning, don't invest in crypto more than you can afford to lose. It's a very highly speculative space, and you don't know what's going to happen.
How long you think this altseason will last?
I don't really know. I think the DeFi bubble is what's going to make or break the altseason. So if you look at, I think, YFI, Yearn Finance, the original DeFi coin, right? I don't know if I said something wrong here, but I think it's the original DeFi coin. It's pumping like crazy, and the DeFi bubble is the
original yield farming coin.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the whole DeFi space has brought a lot of investment and is something to watch. For long as it keeps going up, and as public interest is in and going well, I think that alt season is going to keep going, and that's just I'm not at all an altcoin trader. That's just my best guess, because I think it's a driving factor in the market. And if that starts collapsing, I don't know how and when, that's probably where the market will be topping. I don't know how long it will last. I think in 2017 it lasted until Christmas. I don't know if it's going to last until Christmas again. But definitely watch the DeFi bubble for guidance on that.
And to the last question, Salsa, what is your end of year Bitcoin and Ethereum targets?
Boy, I think Bitcoin at the end of the year could be shit. I don't want to. Honestly, I think
no pressure.
I don't like high time frame predictions because there is literally no edge in that, in my opinion. I think if Bitcoin has a macro pullback, $8,000 is realistic. That's if the bull market doesn't keep going. But if the bull run keeps going, possibly yearly highs for $15,000 area. So somewhere between $8,000 and $15,000 seems realistic to me, but that's a very wide range. I would prefer if we went up, because bull markets make me so much more money.
To all of us.
Yeah, like bull markets are generally more fun, but if we have a macro pullback 8K, if we keep going up, I think 15,000 is a good area to watch for, and possibly new highs if it's not this year, by the coming years. I believe Bitcoin will eventually hit all-time highs. It's just a matter of patience at this point.
And Ethereum?
Oh, Ethereum, I don't really trade that. I don't own any. Archer Hayes said $500, so I'd say $500 probably a good target.
And with that, we end our episode. I'm very happy to have hosted SalsaTekila on Point Blank. Thanks for coming on, man. Can you tell us where we can find you?
Well, yes, thank you for having me. So you guys can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/SalsaTekila. And that's where I should post the most. There's, of course, yeah. So pinned to my page, there's also a link to my Telegram channel, my Discord server, if you guys want to look further into my resources. And that's pretty much it. Twitter is the place where I'm at the most, just because it's convenient. So thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming. And thanks for listening. Until next time. Peace. This episode was brought to you by PrimeXBT, the exchange where you can trade without KYC on legacy markets with your Bitcoin. You can trade commodities like gold, silver, oil, even indexes and forex. Join now and get a 50% bonus on top of your deposit for trading at u.primexbt.com/Panama.